I do remember watching you talk with, I believe it was Vosh, I'm not sure, about Andrew Tate. Do you remember that conversation?
Yeah, sure.
Then again, I'm wanting to, that was where I was going with tying the thread a little bit, where I don't know if you've changed your position that much, because I think when you had that conversation, that was before he was arrested, right?
Yes. Well, my position on Andrew Tate is largely the same.
Okay, so a lot of it, from what I remember, I don't know, you probably have a better memory of it than I do, or maybe you don't. I haven't watched that in a while. It was like a few months ago, right? And I don't feel like you were very strong on like your condemnation of his like the sex trafficking accusations.
Well, that's because he hasn't been convicted yet. But I have said very clearly multiple times is that if he is guilty of that, then that is despicable, horrible behavior that is just disgusting. I'm just not willing to.
But he says
Sure.
that he does it though.
Well, that's the thing. He doesn't say that he does sex trafficking. He says some things, which he definitely, there's an element of self snitching. He does definitely say some really shady things. And I've actually played those clips on my channel and condemned that. One of the biggest things, there's the biggest thing I've condemned is that he has admitted in a clip the fact that he has ripped off like lonely men. So what he'll do is he'll have a girl pretend to be whatever, interested in the guy, and like, hey, send me $5,000, we can meet. And then the guy sends the money and she goes, right? Like just basically theft from men. And I've been very, very public about condemning that, saying that I think that's unacceptable, that's horrible, blah, blah, blah. I've debated some of my even own fans on that. So the stuff that is like crystal clear, I have condemned. But before I like make a definitive position condemning him for the sex trafficking, I want to see how the trial goes. I want to see the evidence. I want to see the evidence the prosecution has. I want to see the evidence the defense has. And once that's over, then I can condemn him or not based on what happens.
Okay, but as that thing that I linked to you in the Crucible chat here, or the whatever yard chat, he straight up talks about how he would take their passports and stuff. Would you not consider that? Like, do you think that he's lying about that, or
Yeah, so I think,
not?
yeah, I've talked about this. I think that's really iffy, sus behavior, but I'm not willing to just go ahead and condemn him on that because several reasons. I watched a lot of like lawyer coverage about this, and typically you can't really take what people say in YouTube videos at face value, especially someone with as much bravado as Andrew Tate. So again, maybe it happened, maybe it did. I would rather see the actual evidence. I want to see how this case plays out. And also the second thing is just because he's taking their passports doesn't necessarily mean like he's a human trafficker. Like for example, when me and my girlfriend travel, I'll just give her my passport and she'll be like, babe, let me take your passport. She's better at organizing than me. And so that in of itself, the question is why? Was he doing it because he wanted to have power over these women, or was he doing it because he thought they were silly bimbos who would lose their passports? So the question is why. Again, I agree it seems very sus. I agree that more likely the motive is nefarious, but it's not 100% yet. And I think we lose nothing by letting this case play out, seeing the evidence. We haven't seen the evidence the defense has yet. We haven't seen all the evidence the prosecution has, except for the stuff that was leaked. I think we should wait for the evidence, and then we should either condemn or not condemn based on the evidence. I'm not really a fan of rushing to judgment in situations like this, so.
Okay, but again, like I'm sure you're familiar with the Loverboy method, and he straight up describes that that's what he does. That's what he's always talked about. He's done it talked about it quite a bit. So do you just disbelieve him that
No, I
he
truly
was
believe
actually doing what he said he was? Because then if you believe him, then that is straight up sex trafficking.
No, I truly believe he did the Loverboy method. I think that
Okay.
I'm not a fan of that. I think that's ethically.
So you just don't think that's sex trafficking, even though it's considered sex trafficking?
No, I don't think doing the Loverboy method in of itself is sex trafficking.
But it is, by like law.
No, I think that for sex trafficking, there needs to be an element of coercion.
That is when they take your passport.
For example, like I seduce you, and I'm like, Nina, I need you to give me $10,000.
I'm very convinced.
That's not. I know. That's not illegal in of itself, right? It's shitty behavior. It's unethical, but that itself is not illegal.
Okay, but like okay, I guess we're just gonna not acknowledge that. That's fine. By literally
Well,
what he was
what am I not?
describing, if he did it, then that is what is basically defined as a form of sex trafficking. So that is not for dispute. That's just interesting. You have that perspective. And why I want to tie this back again to the red pill stuff is that's kind of the problem, because that's where I think you have your bias here, where like that's clearly defined as like a method of sex trafficking, and you refuse to like acknowledge that he's like you believe that he's doing it, but you won't say that he's actually sex trafficking. And maybe that you think that because you don't really have that strong of an opinion, or you're too unwilling to go against, because obviously we know the Andrew Tate mob is crazy, but like unwilling to go against that aspect of the red pill community. Like that is like I think like one of the
No, I don't
biggest
give a
things
shit.
of the red.
I'll go after anyone.
But you
and
won't say
everyone.
anything bad about. I honestly think you're afraid to say anything bad about Andrew Tate, because you know
I have
that a lot
publicly
of your
criticized him
fans have.
countless times. I have.
Okay.
I literally just
Did you get
said.
backlash for it?
I just no, I don't, because people know that I'll say
Exactly.
what I
Because
want.
if you do,
I said literally 5 minutes ago that I think what he was doing was scamming guys out of money is despicable, unethical, and super fucked up.
yeah,
Like,
you only care about the guys.
how is that? What?
You only care about the guys?
No, I don't only care about the guys. That was just an example. I also think that okay, here's one thing I've said in the past. He has admitted to basically stealing money from women and basically lying and saying it's taxes. I've said that's theft, that's unethical, that's super fucked up. We should never be stealing money. So I have criticized them on things involving man and woman.
That was literally in this conversation.
What?
That was literally in this conversation. You didn't even know about that until I just told you
No,
about it in this
no,
conversation.
dude, go back and watch my previous videos. Check and fact check me. I've said that many
You seemed very surprised
times.
when I brought it up
I've
earlier.
said that many times. The only thing I'm unwilling to do is jump to a conclusion based on a situation where charges have not even been filed. I'm not willing to completely condemn the guy. My crazy position is, hey, let's wait until evidence comes out, and then we can make up your own mind. I'm not a fan of this like rush to judgment shit. He hasn't been charged yet. We haven't seen the evidence.
But he says he does it.
No, he doesn't say he sex traffics.
No, but he is described the exact method that would be considered sex trafficking. So it's
what,
not like
what has he said that would be?
You would have to disbelieve. What do you mean? The lover boy method is universally recognized as a form of sex trafficking.
I've never heard that before.
I'm telling you right now.
Well,
what do you mean?
Show me some evidence.
Of what, him saying that? I did. That's the thing I linked.
Okay, let me pull this up. Okay, sex trafficking criteria. There needs to be an element of coercion, physical or mental.
Okay, lover boy, human trafficking, and people smuggling. Literally the first thing that fucking comes up, dude. Here, I'll link you this.
Well, just share your screen.
I've got a lot of other stuff on my screen. I don't even know if you can do it on those. I'll just link it in the thing.
Okay.
Literally, just look up lover boy, and it's the first thing that comes up.
Okay, I don't see it. Oh wait, I'm in a different. Can you?
Guys, I'm also confused as to why we give a shit about this. This needs to go somewhere. Where are we?
Yeah, I don't really know either.
The point.
The only thing I'm not willing to do is condemn the guy.
Is my issue with Alex is that he won't take his stance on these things. Where I think it then perpetuates these ideas, even when he says that you go against the red pill. But he won't go against. He won't go against fucking Andrew Tate, because I think he is afraid of the red pill community. I think you are still unaware of this.
This is the cringiest take ever. Okay, first of all, I've said multiple things that are critical of Andrew Tate. I made multiple videos that are critical of Andrew Tate.
If you didn't get backlash, you didn't fucking say anything, dude. Like, are you kidding me? I get shit on all the time for talking about Andrew Tate.
Okay, you don't know me that well. You don't know my content that well, but I'm the last person to be afraid of backlash, okay? I go after anyone,
you didn't get
everyone.
Any backlash.
Not with that, but I've gotten backlash with other things. I've gotten backlash with how frequently I criticize Fresh and Fit, some of the comments I made about them. So yeah, I've gotten backlash for some red pill things that I do. I've gotten backlash for how hard I go after Rollo Tomasi. So I have gotten backlash. But yeah, I very clearly said that human trafficking is disgusting, despicable behavior. That is my position. But I want to see how this case plays out, before I put Andrew Tate in that category. That is a reasonable position. That is what I think people should do instead of this rush of judgment thing, is they should
But he
see
says he
all
does it.
the evidence. No, he doesn't. See all the evidence. Once you see all the evidence, then you can make up your mind. You haven't seen the evidence the defense has. You haven't, because it has been released. You haven't seen most of the.
I don't have to see
don't
evidence.
have
He
to-
says he does it.
Well, thank God you're not the judge then, because we'd be
Well, yeah,
living
I'm
in a
not the judge.
shitty.
Obviously, I would have a different standard of judgment if I'm.
Yeah,
like,
your
trying
standard
to
of judgment would be
prove
he said something
But
in a
I'm saying
YouTube
if I was
video.
criticizing
Let's throw him away for 20 years. Like, that's your standard
Oh my
of judgment
God.
right now. He said something in a YouTube video. Let's put him away. Like, let's look at
Yeah,
the
'cause,
physical evidence. Let's look at the witness testimonies. Let's look at like all the evidence, and then we
You
can
are
make.
such a coward. You literally won't make any hard judgment or any like not judgment. Sorry, that was poor wording. Like you won't just like he says that he does it. Why
No,
the
he
fuck
never
are
says.
you not going to be willing to say that? Yeah, he's probably fucking guilty of the thing that he says that he does.
Well, because I believe that you shouldn't condemn people until all the evidence plays out. I think that's
Okay, so you also
really
okay then
messed up
you would
behavior.
maybe agree with me that you shouldn't listen to anything Andrew Tate says because he's just lying.
Depends on what. Like, what are
Well,
we
on
talking
that,
about?
you're saying that because he says he does that, so he must.
No,
be lying
he's
then.
never said he human traffics. Can you show me the clip where he says he
He
human
has
traffics?
literally described. I have. It's in the thing. I linked it. You can watch it. It's fine.
Okay,
Like
let
he's
me.
describing the exact method that he would get people. They've said it a million times that they get people to fall in love with them, move to the country, and then once they do, they convince them to go into doing sex work for them. They have them their bottom bitch. Like he didn't say that word, but like they have the best way to. I don't have a good Andrew Tate voice.